Rump Chapter 19. Trolls, Witches, and Poison Apples. The trolls heaved and grunted at the sight of me. They smacked their lips. "Well done, brother. Looks like your trap caught us a nice, tasty boy." "But I wanted a goat," said the first troll. "Oh no, a boy is even better, much more succulent, practically a feast." They all snorted and hopped up and down. "He's awful skinny. Do you think his legs will have any meat?" "I get the fingers. They look like the juiciest part of him." "I'll take the rear. I've been longing for a rump roast." I couldn't help it. I started laughing. Rump roast! My destiny was to be eaten. He laughed. "I like this human. Let's eat him now." The trolls closed in on me and licked their lips with horribly long gray tongues. I twisted and writhed, trying to free myself. If I could just get down, I had a sliver of a chance of getting away, but it was no use. My bindings were only tightened with my squirming, and the trolls were now packed in a circle around me. I squeezed my eyes shut and prepared for the worst. "Wait," said a troll. I opened my eyes. The troll held out his arms to stop the others from coming closer. Maybe he wanted to eat me all by himself. He sniffed hard through his fat, misshapen nose. "Do you smell that?" The other trolls sniffed too and stalked forward until they were all right up close. From upside down, I could see straight up their noses, all hairy and slimy. "He smells," said one troll. "Not like most humans," finished another. "Cut him down," said the first troll, "and don't let him go." It was hard to tell from upside down, but I thought the trolls looked a little confused. With a quick slash, I was released and fell right at the feet of my captor. I looked up at him and squealed. He was terrifyingly ugly and smelled even worse. "Bring him over near the fire," he told the others. "Mard will want to see this." The fire. They didn't want to eat me cold. The trolls dragged me through the trees like a dead rabbit. I couldn't speak or even move. "Scared out of his senses," laughed one troll. "We have that effect on humans." The trolls dragged my limp body further into the trees until we reached a small clearing where there was a large fire and even more trolls sitting around it. They released me, and I scrambled to my hands and knees to search for a way to escape, but I was surrounded by smelly, ugly, man-eating trolls. A pot of some stinking brew was boiling over a fire. Maybe they intended to cook me in that. "What's this?" said a girl troll. The only reason I thought she was a girl was because her voice was slightly higher and she had two long tangled braids. Otherwise, she looked the same as the rest. "This boy tried to eat the apples," said the troll dragging me. "Of course he did," said the girl troll. "But what did you bring him here for?" "Borg did it," said one. "He said not to let him go." The first troll, the one they called Borg, reached down and lifted me up by the back of my shirt with one hand. I flailed my arms as I hung in the air. "Smell 'em, Baird?" said Borg. The girl troll bent down and sniffed a little, then a lot. I held my breath so I wouldn't have to sniff her. Finally, her eyes widened and she looked up at Borg. "Strange," the girl troll said. I guessed her name was Maird. "I know," said Borg. "I almost wish he'd eaten one of those apples, just to see what would have happened." A few trolls growled at Borg. They all seemed to think he had said something really horrible. A few of the trolls closed in on me. Maybe they thought the apples would spoil the taste of their dinner. All this talk of food was making me hungry, and if I couldn't eat before I died, I'd like to die quickly. "Could we please get this over?" I said. The trolls looked at me confused. I guess they didn't often have people begging to be eaten. "Get what over with?" one said. "Who do you think you are, making demands?" "Well, I've just been through a lot, and I could use a break. So if you could just eat me fast." The trolls were all silent for a moment as they looked from each other to me and back at each other. Then they all started laughing. Or I guess they were laughing. Their bodies were heaving like laughter, but the laughs sounded more like growls and howls and snorts. Borg suddenly released me, and I fell to the ground with a grunt. All my sore bones screamed at me. "He's begging us to eat him," said a troll. "We really don't want to eat you. What of you is there to eat?" But I started. "Here," mayored the girl troll, handed me a cup of what looked like steaming mud or something worse. "You must be hungry, seeing as you were trying to eat those apples. Have some sludge." The sludge was greenish-brown, and it stank and moved. All the trolls were slurping it down like it was honey, but that made it even less appetizing. I looked down at the sludge, then back up at the trolls. "You're not going to eat me?" "Ugh, blech," said a troll, another girl. I thought. It was still hard to tell. "It's a bit of a joke that humans believe that we'll eat them," said Bork. "And they think we'll actually taste good. So vain. But it keeps them away, mostly." "Away?" "Away from us," said Mayrd. "Humans are trouble dressed up pretty, especially that greedy King Barfahue, or whatever his silly name is." "What kind of trouble?" I asked. "Humans, we always thought the trolls who were trouble." "And that's the way we like it," said Bork. The other trolls gagged and spit in agreement. "If those greedy humans didn't think we'd gobble them up, they'd try and make slaves of us." "Slaves? But why?" I asked. All of the trolls looked in different directions and shifted uncomfortably. "Never mind why," said Mayrd. "The humans take one look at any living creature and think of only how they can use it." "So we've made ourselves out to be villains," said Bork. "Isn't that smart?" "It's not smart if you're going to tell him," said a troll wearing a helmet with deer horns. "He's human too, you know." "He's not like the rest. Can't you smell it on him?" asked Bork. "I can," said Deerhorns. "Smell what on me?" I tried to sniff myself. I was pretty dirty, but I couldn't smell anything over the rancid odor of the trolls and their sludge. The trolls looked at each other cautiously. "Never mind that," said Mayrd. "We're not going to eat you." I was still a little suspicious, sitting here in the midst of all these trolls who kept saying that I smelled. What were you trying to catch by the apple tree if you don't eat humans? "Bork's trying to catch a pet," said Mayrd. "He's always wanted a pet." "I wanted a goat," Bork said foreignly. "Not a boy." "Drink your sludge," said Mayrd. I looked down at the cup full of mystery mud. My stomach grumbled, but I wasn't sure I was hungry enough to drink this. I wished I had the meat pie, which was back by the road with nothing. I thought about those red, juicy apples just sitting on the tree. Maybe trolls didn't like apples. Maybe they thought they tasted like mud, and mud tasted like sweet fruit. Maybe they didn't know humans would rather eat apples than mud. "What's wrong with apples?" I asked. "What's wrong with apples?" said Deerhorns. "Did you ever see an apple tree full of ripe apples this early in the year?" I thought for a moment. Actually, I've never seen an apple tree at all. They don't grow on the mountain where I'm from. I've only seen apples off of the tree. "Well, that's no ordinary apple tree," said Mayrd. Bork leaned over the fire to speak to me. He had as much hair on his arms as I did on my head. "It's poisoned," he said. "You could have died, or worse. You should thank us." "Thank you," I said. "To sludge," said Bork, lifting his cup. "And to no poison apples." The rest of the trolls grunted. "To sludge!" And they slurped down their drinks. Then they all watched me expectantly. I guess I had to drink it or be considered impolite. What did trolls do with impolite guests? I put it to my mouth and took a sip. It tasted like rotten vegetables, and it was slimy. I think I swallowed a worm. The trolls and all smiled and nodded. "Ah, that's the stuff. Sets you up for life. Makes you big and strong." I wanted to ask more questions, partly because I was curious, but mostly so I wouldn't have to drink more of the sludge. "How do you know the apples are poisoned?" One poison apple seemed believable, but an entire tree of them was strange. "Oh, the apples again," said Deerhorns. "We'd best tell him the story, shouldn't we? You tell it, Bork." "Why me? You tell it, Slop." "You found the boy," said Deerhorns. "Or Slop." And you make the story sound so pretty. Bork grumbled under his breath, but when he started speaking, his voice was low and dramatic. A long time ago, there was a witch set. See? She was the queen of some other kingdom, far from here. Beyond yonder, beyond even. She tried to kill her stepdaughter, 'cause she was jealous of her beauty. Gran used to tell me the story. It was one of my favorites. The girl ran away and lived with dwarves, but the witch queen found out and fed her a poisoned apple, one that would make her fall asleep for forever. But it didn't work, because a prince woke her with true love's first kiss and all that, and she lived happily ever after with her prince. That's where Gran's story ended, but Bork kept going and told a story I didn't know. But the witch's apple poison didn't die. The dwarves, careless creatures, threw it down the mountain and it fell in the dirt. Soon that apple was dirt itself, but the seeds didn't turn to dirt. Those seeds took root and grew into an apple tree. A magical poison apple tree. Magic, I said. How do you know it's magic? The troll shifted and looked around. Because, as Slop said, he scratched his horns, the fruit is ripe year-round, but magic could make it ripe all year. They all nodded and grunted in agreement, but I sensed there was something they weren't telling me. So if I ate the apples, I would have fallen asleep forever? I asked. Until true love's first kiss, maybe. That sounded as good as dead to me. True love was for fair princesses and maidens and knights in shining armor. The only girl I was even friends with was Red, and I think she'd rather hit me in the face than kiss me. Maybe she could punch me awake. Have you ever seen someone eat those apples? No, said Bork. Then how do you know they're poison? Something about the apples intrigued me. A deer ate those apples once, said Slop. I saw him, and the next day we found him dead. He rubbed the horns on his helmet. Wolves got him, Slop, said Bork. Those weren't wolves. Those apples ate him from the inside out. Enough about death and fruit, said Maird. Eat your sludge. The trolls all got busy slurping and snorting, and so did I. So I did my best to blend in by holding my cup to my lips. Every now and then I spilled a little behind me until my cup was empty. But unlucky for me, the trolls were very hospitable, and Maird took my cup and plunged it into the pot of sludge. She handed it back to me with sludge dripping down the sides. You need more meat on you. Eat. I ate another worm. It wriggled down my throat. So, said another troll as he slurped the last of his sludge. This one looked very old. All the trolls had wrinkles, but this one's skin had wrinkles inside of wrinkles, and his tangled hair was streaked with white. I heard the king got married. King Bartholomew got married? Said Bork. Who would marry such an ugly thing? I heard the girl can make things gold. Straw, I said. She makes straw into gold. A witch, said Slop, a horn troll. The king married a witch. I can smell trouble from here. I wouldn't get within 10 steps of that witch, said Bork. Well, people don't come within 10 steps of us, and we're not that bad, said another troll. The witch was who made that apple bad, said Bork. Others grunted their agreements. I wondered if my mother's family in yonder were all witches. Were they nice witches or mean witches? Maybe Mother was really running from them. But they're not all bad, are they? I asked. Some witches are trying to help. Witches don't help, said Maird. They just make more trouble. You would know, said a big troll, and Maird whacked him on the back of the head with her club-like arm. He whacked her back. Then all the trolls started whacking each other, and they rolled and wrestled on the ground. I stood quickly, spilling sludge all down my shirt. A couple of trolls came very near the fire. Sparks flew up in the air before they rolled away, laughing in their grunty, snorty way. It seemed this was common troll after-dinner play. I looked on as the trolls wrestled and snorted and punched each other, almost enjoying the scene, until one troll suddenly sank down into the ground beneath some leaves. All the trolls gasped. Quickly, they hauled the troll out and began shoveling leaves over the place where he had fallen. Maird waddled over to me and tried to turn me around, but then another troll slipped on the edge. Soon the entire mass of leaves was scattered, revealing something the trolls did not want me to see. I broke away from Maird. Beneath the leaves was a hole, and in the hole was a stash of curious objects: a boot, a mirror,